Okay, so I never have any time to film. One, because I'm on vacation right now with my boyfriend. And two, I'm just lazy. So welcome back to the Be the Hero channel. I'm Isabelle and I help you understand the stars so you can feel more clarity and control over your day. Now, before I dive into today's video, which is diving really deep in very short segments towards a very, very important transit that I had the opportunity to talk about today with a client, make sure you hit the link in the description below to book a reading with me now, where we can dive deep into your chart and also how this impactful transit is affecting you. This is what I consider to be one of the most important transits that I look at in current astrology, and it's actually one of the few that I look at. I actually surprisingly don't look at that many transits that currently happen. Like even Pluto, which is usually considered pretty important, I kind of consider important. I don't pay much attention to, but this one I do. And that is the eclipse. Specifically right now, lunar eclipse in Libra on the 25th of March at 3 a.m. EDT. So before I dive into the transit description for everything that is happening with this specific eclipse, let's talk about what an eclipse is generally, because understanding this is really the key to understanding what it means for you, and it can really bring down the fear. Because oftentimes I see the problem in astrology is that everyone is, just like any belief can be, terrified. Oh my God, Mercury's in Gatorade and it's gonna kill us all. Be careful, you might run into your ex or die. And it's just ridiculous. An eclipse is like a chapter. Imagine your life is a book, a story. And these eclipses are oftentimes key chapters or key parts of your journey. These eclipses oftentimes have to do with the North Node. The past eclipses of the year had the North and South Node here. These eclipses have the North and South Node here. To be honest, it might be, I don't know for sure. I think it's because the nodes are there that this is an eclipse, but I'm not entirely sure. The point is, for this eclipse in general and our previous eclipses in the past year or two, the North and South Node have been here. And this also forms a really big reason why these eclipses are important, because the North and South Node represent our highest path to growth and our stress, our overused gifts and talents, our past life karma. So your North and South Node in your chart is your unique individual path to growth in this lifetime. And by embracing it, you can elevate your frequency, manifest with ease, and live in your highest self. The current node transiting for you individually is what you are focusing on right now during this time. So for example, from 2022 to 2023, we had the North Node in Taurus and the South Node in Scorpio, which meant we were all working on being more self-sufficient and focusing on finding more material fulfillment, finding that we can enjoy our own time by tapping into our own senses. For everyone else, slightly different based on your sun and your rising, because that changes where it's affecting you in your chart. Now, as of, I believe, June or July of 2023, the nodes shifted into Aries and Libra. So they are in some of the final-ish degrees of Aries and Libra right now, the North Node being in Aries, the South Node being in Libra. And this means that all of us collectively are learning to step into more independence, healthy independence, and healing our relationship with codependency. Previous themes were more so about our unhealthy relationships with intimacy, whereas now we're focusing on our unhealthy relationships with codependency. How do we latch on to people? Do we latch on to people, or are we being hyper independent out of fear of being codependent on people? These are the themes that the North and South Node in Libra and Aries bring up during this time. And so we have an eclipse now happening in Libra, which means it's basically an extremified version of a full moon that is going to affect us in the long term. Oftentimes people say that eclipses bring up new people, destined events, destined connections, destined moments. everything that happens during this time is quote unquote destiny. And I can attest to this and also say that it's all a matter of perception. Last eclipse season, I met some very important people who are huge, impactful points for me in my sense of self-worth and my self-sufficiency, learning to just love myself and separate. And at the same time, it's a matter of perception. So it's up to you to choose how you want to perceive these eclipses. But with this eclipse that is happening this March, 24th/25th, really more than that. Eclipses affect us for a long period of time. Basically, since we moved out of the last previous new moon in Pisces shadow phase, we were then in eclipse season because now we are nearing it. And so eclipses are basically like a portal that are opened. They can affect us for long periods of time. So we are in eclipse season until the new moon solar eclipse in Aries, which will happen in April, early April, around like the 15th probably. So this eclipse in Libra, with the South Node in Libra, can really be a point where we're bringing to light, once again, our relationship with relations. We had it was a full solar eclipse last October, which was actually visible for me in Colorado last year. And this again was one of the first points for us in seeing the themes that are going to be recurringly coming up for us until the North and South Node leave Libra and Aries in January of 2025. So that was the first taste of this energy. And both of these are about our relationships with how we relate to people. Libra is the archetype of the scales, known for being justice-oriented, but also other-oriented. Libra is the first sign for us where we learn to see from someone else's perspective. The first 6 signs of the zodiac are all about building the sense of self. Who am I? What do I value? How do I communicate with people? What am I curious about? How do I nurture people? What makes me feel nurtured? How do I serve others? How do I build my routines? And now, what are they thinking? That is what Libra is all about. They want to make other people feel seen, feel appreciated, and by default, Libra then feels valued the more they are liked by other people. Libra's core flaw is the desire to seek approval, frankly. And so this is actually a huge theme in society at large. We're not taught that it's okay to be our own independent selves. We are always looking for our other half, and we must make others feel appreciated and approved of for their unique identities, for their unique beliefs, for their unique perspectives, which isn't a bad thing at a whole. However, just like any theme in astrology, just like anything in life, they can have a negative and positive expression. And that is what's going to be coming up over this few weeks, especially during the direct 7 days before, the 3 days before and 3 days after the eclipse on the 25th. And so during this time, as we lead up to it, you can feel more and more tension with the idea of how you seek approval from others. And if you do, this may be playing out if you're an Aries in your one-on-one relationships. If you're a Libra, this is really a time for you to reflect on how you show up with others. Libra, Aries, Cancer, and Capricorn are going to be the most affected by this eclipse. And frankly, Pisces, because we have a lot of planets in Pisces right now. But overall, the eclipse in Libra right now is bringing to light how we interact with others. So now is a really great time for you to move slower through life and pay attention to how you are interacting with others, especially because we have so many planets in introspective Pisces. Mars is here, the sun's actually not here anymore. There's a few other planets here. I don't have my computer on me to look at what else is here, but I know we have a lot of Pisces energy, which is the planet which really is the archetype of introspection. So this is bringing actually a really good balance to this eclipse that can make it seem and be a lot calmer and more about the inner work than usual. Oftentimes we can have more chaotic, external focused eclipses. This one's going to be a lot more about our inner process. So move slower through life and reflect on how you're interacting with others and why. What is your goal with interacting with others? Do you truly want to make them feel seen just to be a good person? Is there your own gain to get from it? And how does it make you feel? the North Node is in Aries, and during this 18-month period, we're all healing our relationship with independence and learning that good things can come not from being aggressive, but from being assertive. And there's a massive difference between the two. Oftentimes in our society, we swing from being, all of us, codependent to hyper independent out of fear that we are going to be trapped or we're going to be alone. And this eclipse is bringing to light for us all how we face and deal with that fear of being alone versus trapped, and asking us to heal our relationship with it. Can we be healthily independent, and can we form healthy connections from a strong sense of self? Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the initiator of change. It's the moment we first come out into the world and decide we are going to live this experience to the fullest, however it may come. And so while we have this eclipse in its opposite sign, we must heal these parts of ourselves first and recognize how our relations are having unhealthy dynamics before we can move into healthy independence. So if you have strong Libra placements, this is going to be extra highlighted for you. And those with strong Aries placements are going to feel out of their box for sure. However, we are in now Aries season, so for those of you who are fellow Aries, during this time, try to be patient and unfortunately you may feel that your birthday so far, quote unquote, is hijacked because you're having to do a lot of inner work. And that is the general theme for March, as I did in my horoscope for Mars, or for Aries for March, is that this month is a lot of reflection for you. This is a lot of contemplation. You're really changing who you are during this time. After all, the North Node is here. You can't help but be in the spotlight and be changing your sense of identity. So this eclipse is part one of two eclipse seasons that will happen this year. So there's going to be a huge focus for us that sets the stage for spring, to spring a new version of ourselves, to be a new version of ourselves, and recognize our patterns. Libra not only has to do with interactions with other people, but also our sense of what is balanced, what is neutral. And this is something that I was just talking about with my client today who did a reading, is that not only is Libra about how we interact with others, but it has to do with our mentality to life. Libra is known for being indecisive, and Aries represents the Fool. And this is a concept that society has really strayed from. As we've become more comfortable, we have learned that more and more failure equals death, frankly. And so we avoid failure, thinking of it as a bad thing rather than something that we can learn from. Libra takes in all the information, has access to all the information, and can decide what is best based off of that. Or maybe not even making a decision, letting others do it. Whereas Aries has no information, new to the world. They are just like the tarot card Zero, the Fool who knows nothing. And if you allow yourself to embrace this, you will be benefited. So notice any indecisive behaviors during this time. Notice if you have a fear of failure, because you are going to be challenged on this during this eclipse season. And as we move from Libra energy and morph into Aries energy over the next 2 weeks, starting from the Libra eclipse and moving towards the Aries eclipse, notice if you have situations in your life that you are being stuck in because of the fear of making the wrong decision. A lot of people don't agree with the idea of destiny, but try seeing from the perspective of, what if everything works out? What if everything happens exactly as it should? And what if you truly believe you're a good person who deserves the best? How does that change your actions? And how can you be more fearless, bold, and brave in your life? And what needs to be eliminated in order to do so? So if you have more questions about this eclipse and you have more information on, or based on your chart, things you want to know, let me know in the comments below, and I will be covering more videos on this eclipse soon. This is a very huge event, very big for our changes, very big for our self-growth. And so you may not feel in full control in your life right now, oftentimes we don't. So maybe surrender is what you need during this time, but maybe intention is what you need as well. So don't try to control things too much. See where you need to grow, reflect. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and stay tuned for more videos breaking down the stars. Once again, my name's Isabelle, and from my heart to yours, namaste.